Friday, March 1st, 1912, West London. The rain had finally stopped and the sky was clear. People wandered up and down the street, looking into shop windows and admiring their displays. The weather is fair, slightly windy. Women enter department stores and exit with the latest fashions. Shoppers worry over potential increases in food prices brought on by the current coal strike. Shop girls discuss evening plans as their shifts draw to a close. Friday, March 1st, 1912, 5:45 p.m., West London. Women who had been wandering up and down the streets only moments before pull out hammers and charge the windows of nearby shops. There's much commotion as metal makes contact with glass. Onlookers scramble to get away from the danger. Those inside the shops turn their heads in time to see cracks appear in their once clear windows. The sound of breaking glass fills the air, peppered with an occasional cry of votes for women. What had been a perfectly normal evening turned into a chaotic one as members of the Women's Social and Political Union embarked on their first great window-breaking demonstration, resulting in the arrest of 124 suffragettes. This protest proved to be controversial, unsurprisingly. Today we will consider the effectiveness of the window-smashing campaign by examining the views of the suffragette, the shopkeeper, and the public.
Gentlemen of the jury, I want you to thoroughly understand that I broke those windows deliberately as a protest against the government for not dealing in a fair and straightforward manner with women's suffrage.
Kitty Marion told the courtroom. A full week had passed since the window-breaking demonstration, and now 124 women sat in court awaiting their sentence. Kitty was one of them. Initially, the campaign had been scheduled for March 4th, but when government and law enforcement got wind of the plan and started to organize, the WSPU was forced to take action sooner than expected. Absolute secrecy was required. Suffragettes were assigned shops on prominent streets in London's West End and told to wait outside their location until they heard Big Ben strike 6:15. As soon as the clock rang, suffragettes pulled out their hammers and smashed the windows of nearby shops.
The glass was shattered as simultaneously the sound of breaking glass filled the vicinity and electrified everybody. I rushed to the other oval, broke that, then the next door.
Before she could cause any more destruction, Kitty was arrested by the police. Votes for Women, the WSPU's bi-monthly newspaper, wrote about the event in great detail, describing the scene with great relish. Police officers were so overwhelmed they didn't know who to arrest first. Some onlookers jumped into action, trying to restrain the women. What's more, the traffic came to a halt, with men and women climbing the roofs of buses for refuge or view. Onlookers rushed from window to window to see what was happening. From the suffragettes' point of view, the campaign had been a smashing success. Everybody was talking about their actions. Everybody was coming to the West End to look at the destruction, and shop owners definitely got the point. The public, on the other hand, begged to differ. Panic erupted inside the stores as glass flew from the windows. Shop girls dashed about, and owners ran towards their broken windows to assess the damage. As soon as police carted the window breakers away, merchants did their best to cover their windows and secure their stores. West End merchants were on high alert all weekend for fear that the WSPU would mount another attack. The cost of the suffragettes' window-smashing campaign was mostly covered by insurance, but still put a financial strain on shop owners. Window displays were used as a means of advertising a store's latest acquisitions. Men and women would stroll up and down the street taking in window displays as one might take in a work of art in a gallery. A good display worked much in the same way that modern advertisements do, showing viewers what the store had in stock and enticing them to come in. With their windows broken, shop owners could not build their displays. Not all shops were damaged. Selfridge's on Oxford Street was a known supporter of women's enfranchisement, and their windows remained intact. Perhaps the group which benefited the most from the WSPU's window-smashing campaign were the plate glass manufacturers, who were in high demand after the incident. The planned and organized attack on West End shops was not just startling for shop owners, but for onlookers as well. The WSPU resorting to such violent and dramatic means did not win over the masses as they had hoped, but rather terrorized the public. The Times was disdainful of the wanton and wholesale damage caused by the protesters. Kitty remembers her arresting officer with an expression of grave concern, telling her,
"I've always been in favour of women getting the vote, but now I'm against it."
This was not the first time that suffragettes had broken windows. Government buildings had had their windows smashed almost regularly by members of the WSPU. What set this apart in the public's mind was the scale of the attack and the target's lack of association with government policies on women's vote.
The destruction of private property has roused a deeper feeling of resentment against the movement than any amount of government glass breaking,
wrote the Daily Telegraph.
I am among the many women who, whilst keen suffragists, deplore beyond expression the tactics of the militant advocates of women's suffrage,
began one letter to the editor of the Times. Editorials from suffragists poured into newspapers, asserting that those who had smashed the windows represented a vocal minority in the movement. The complete rejection of the WSPU's tactics by constitutional suffragists is illustrative of the divide which existed between the two sides of the movement. The pride with which the WSPU describes the attack and subsequent arrest of their members expresses a level of commitment to their motto of deeds not words. As people walked the streets of London on Friday evening, taking in the damage, they felt greater sympathy to the shop owners than those who carried out the attack.